Once again, good morning to our listenership by radio or internet stream or whatever platform. We want to welcome you to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program. Today's Friday, the 19th day of November, and it's International Men's Day. So to all the men's out there, want to say it's our day. It's International Men's Day on the 19th of November. This is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. We'll pause now for a word from our sponsors, and then we get back. And we have some titillating topics for us to delve in today. So see you here in a few.
Decided what to eat yet, hun?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
When the star them there, we are top man, we take charge. Have no reaching out, we are shell down hard. Blast like a star with some gallopar. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man then. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Hello,
Jean, you know every time I call you, it's always about something good.
what going on?
Well, the TDC retail stores in St. Kitts and Nevis are at it again. The new stocks have arrived.
Really?
Yes, new furniture, printers, toys, appliances, electronics, housewares, even decorations, and so much more. New is in.
So, girl Betty, when we going?
You know me, I don't miss a beat when it comes to TDC. I'm getting ready to go to TDC Automotive and the Home and Building Depot now. And next week, we're definitely going over to CDS Nevis to see what they have over there too.
Betty, me I'm here. Betty, you gone?
At 14 past the hour, you're locked on to WINNFM 98.9 on the FM dial for another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, and I'll be your host today. And as I indicated prior to the ad segment, we have quite a few topics we'd like to put on the table for feedback. I am actually fresh from a press conference of Minister Grant, and lots of revelations which I'm going to delve into. But there's another topic out there that is causing some angst amongst the Calypsonian. We're now celebrating Sugar Mass 50, and lots of plans were put in place. Calypsonians, some of us had our first Calypso tent viewing last Saturday. The next is due tomorrow, and lo and behold, there is a shall I say, edict that unless you're vaccinated, you cannot take part in the competition. So I received it for calls, and lots of guys are really upset, and some are threatening legal action. But from the last count, I have about 9 Calypsonians registered choosing who are now told that unless they're vaccinated, they will not be able to take part in the competition. This topic has been around for some time, but there was no actual confirmation either way. Now it seems official. I don't know who's going to have the last say on this, but quite a few Calypsonians, some in the top ranking, huge fan base, are now told that they will not be part of the lineup. As a matter of fact, if you don't have your vaccination information with you, say that you're vaccinated, you cannot even come to the venue. Well, it makes sense anyway. So I'd like to hear your feedback on that. We know we've had this discussion in many sectors within the Federation and around the world that in order to work, in order to the banking, traveling, etc., it becomes part of our world. So this was somewhat anticipated, but in earlier conversation, I think I raised it, and there was some uncertainty as to what will happen. Now it seems to be the ruling of the day. So I wonder if I can call some names. Some names. We have at least two from Nevis. Well, the great Polo, he didn't show last week because there was an incident, and we were looking forward for his performance. We have, I'm told, the Ice House Up. We have Glenroy Blanchett. We have Caramel, rookie, in the ring. And she is pretty much disappointed that she would not be able to really do her thing. And some other big names, but just to name a few, Calypsonians who are now faced with not being able to take part in the Sugar Mass 50 festivities, really the Calypso show, unless that is addressed and reversed. I know somebody who will be reaching out to the AG and other persons of authority to get that matter resolved. So there's that. And if you want to weigh in on that, let me see if we can find the numbers to call. We got 662-0989, 762-0989. Those are, and 466. So those are local numbers. If you want to weigh in on that particular topic. Well, look for those. Yesterday morning there was a meeting held between the Deputy and Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable Sean Richards, the task force, other tourism stakeholders, the presidents of the taxi associations, and at least 6 persons of the independent taxi, some affiliated. This was held at the NEMA building. This began at 9 o'clock and went down to about 12:30. So this indicates to you how serious the length of discussion that took place to try to get to some sort of resolution. I think it was triggered by information that went around that taxi drivers were not really considering, but had decided to take some sort of protest action by way of blocking the entrance to the port. And so while this was not widely known by everyone, I received a call about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Socrates, we're not going to wait any longer. We have decided to take actions. This is because this person knew that the presidents were taking a sort of measured approach to resolving the concerns of the general body of taxi operators at Port Sante. And so I got the call. I says, I can't advise you what to do or not to do, but you know we're doing so and so. He said, but we cannot wait any longer. The frustration is at the point where we are going to take things into our own hands. One of the other presidents weighed in, and there was some discussion. And we were promised a meeting yesterday morning. We were asked to come to a meeting to resolve, discuss, and see if we could come to some sort of understanding. Out of that, there is a meeting planned for next week, Wednesday, with the Tourism Authority, the presidents, and other parties to see if we can come to some sort of arrangement. During the press conference this morning, a question was posed to Minister Grant by Mr. Batt, asking him about the situation at the port, the complaints of the taxi drivers, who seem not to be getting a fair shake in terms of the dispatching of the work. And Mr. Grant responded that pre-COVID, a majority of the taxi drivers came to the authority with complaints that the taxi presidents were not serving their best interest, and they wanted the dispatching to be taken over by the tourism authority. In pleasing them, they did that. Now, lo and behold, in this phase reopening of the industry, he said the majority of drivers now, and many of them signed a petition, are now saying they want things to go back to the way it was, where the taxi operators themselves would take charge of the dispatching. And things were said. I'm talking about like 4 hours of discussion on the topic, chaired by the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Sean Richards. We had the Honorable Wendy Phipps there, the Attorney General, Mr. Abdul Samuel, Mrs. Hazel Laws, the Commissioner of Police, reps from Cantors and Scenic Railway, CEO Brown, Product Development Officer in Tourism, Melissa Marshall, Permanent Secretary, Colin Henry, all there, all having this say back and forth. It lasted 4+ hours. Okay? And apart from the presidents, those invited like Petrol, DJ Fresh and others, Millington, were able to address and then hear from the Tourism Authority Minister Grant, Rackelbaum, and Pierce Henry, their side of things. And at the end of the day, the other president and I said, we're glad that they were there to see what actually prevails during this meeting, because some of them are of the opinion that we don't represent them, we're not there for them, etc. They have no idea. Example today, cruise ship port. I just gave a press conference. This is to make sure that I have all information that would better serve the taxi fraternity. You know? So these are things that's happening. Calypsonians not vaccinated will not be able to take part in the Calypso competition. And they're not happy. They're raising cane, so to speak. I don't know what legal redress can serve them. I heard the AG says only fully vaccinated patrons will be allowed in the venues. Yet at the same time, they're saying that we need about 600 plus other persons to be vaccinated to reach that 80%. Shall I use the phrase herd immunity? That 80% of a population being vaccinated so they can actually relax. One of the Calypsonians told me that she was told that she didn't have to be vaccinated because enough people, enough persons in the mix would be vaccinated. And then now she is being told, unless you are actually vaccinated and can show documentation, you will not be allowed to take part in the Sugar Mass festivities. I'm going to pause there and we take a word from our sponsors, and then we come back and open up the lines, see if we get any response to any of these issues.
Campari, grapefruit, easy for we. Brother, he no hard it, easy for we. Campari, he no cup, easy for we. Brother, he no hard it, easy for we. Add the Campari with the grapefruit soda. That easy, bitter had the pre. Simple mixer, easy 1 3. Campari, grapefruit, that easy for we. If you mix a Campari grapefruit, add 1 part Campari to 3 parts grapefruit soda. Drink at the bar, on the beach, or when a girl reach. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Decided what to eat yet, hun?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to flour.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the program, and we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir. How about thou?
Giving thanks for life.
That's the way we
Yes,
start
sir.
the day.
Hello?
I said that's the way we start the day. Go right ahead.
Yes. Can I ask permission to speak?
Most certainly, sir.
Thank you. Two very heavyweight issues you have at hand there.
Mm-hmm.
And first one with the Calypso fraternity. It's a foregone conclusion in terms of what I want me personally to decide as the way forward
Yes.
is that all Calypsonians should show solidarity. If no singers, none of the fraternity would allow to sing, none would sing. And therefore, Carnival will have to do without the Calypsonians' voice.
And you can't have carnival without calypso. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, we have to show solidarity in one way or another. If those people allow that the Calypso fraternity to be severed on whatever line, whatever percentage on this side or on the other side, they would smile and laugh and grin and have a drink over the demise of a disunified body. We have seen it with the taxi fraternity.
Yes.
For how much longer, how much more shall we see the divide and rule system? And that's my conclusion in terms of that.
Thank you very much for that.
The gentleman, pardon me?
So thank you for that. Go right ahead.
In terms of, I was not notified. I heard something of that nature. I don't know how was to take it in terms of industrial action.
Yes.
And might I add, industrial action for me would be the last resort. And
Yes.
that would be an advice that I would want to advise the new body of the taxi fraternity.
Yes.
Enshrined in your constitution, industrial action would be the last
Resort.
resort. After all of the negotiation, the sitting down,
Would
the
have failed.
brainstorming. Because industrial action is not nothing nice and nothing that we will want to see. Because it will reflect bad as to, you know what I mean, wow, you know. So that would be the last resort. But if industrial action comes to the fore, it means that something is wrong. It means that something is wrong, that persons are so agitated that they're going to take such
Drastic.
decision. Yes. You know? So I'm not saying count me in, even though I am in. Don't get me wrong. But in my philosophy, industrial action would be the last resort. And I want that to be enshrined in the new constitution that you guys is going to draft.
Well, it was stated in the meeting yesterday by one of the presidents that that would be the last resort. But should it come to that he'll be leading, what that revealed is that there wasn't any broad-based discussion. The fact that you didn't even hear about it. I was called about 4:30, but I said, we have this course of action that we're pursuing. And the response was, yeah, but they can't wait anymore, and they, so, okay, you do your thing. And I actually called a person about 7:30 in the morning. I said, oh, how's it looking? He says, I'm here by myself. No, nobody show up yet.
And if I might add one last thing to this, contentious issue with Calypsonians.
Mm-hmm.
When is the next showing?
Tomorrow
You
night.
said tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
Wow.
night.
It seems like you guys got to stay up all night tonight and, you know what I mean, to flesh things out.
The question is,
Likewise,
go ahead.
the Calypso fraternity should take measure like that. If by say like 4 hours of negotiation, nothing we have, where the guys should be allowed to sing.
Mm-hmm.
The taxi fraternity collectively should take a measure like an industrial action in terms of none of the guys, the few that have been exempted, kind of sing. We are not going to sing.
You're going from Calypso to taxi. We're talking Calypso now,
Yes,
so.
because it has something in common. They have something in common there.
I know.
You know, so I'm using that commonality to really come to the fore. And from the best practices, because we have seen the demise in the taxi fraternity.
Right.
Can it be reversed? I don't know. I am going to show solidarity regardless as to how persons say that was their decision to be vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
But I am still going to show solidarity because if they get a job, somewhere they're going to patronize one of our local businesses. It might be a business that I know, a
Point.
family member, and the money will stay in our economy.
Very good point.
Okay? So I am going to show solidarity with that. If the decision comes that we're going to go and do industrial action, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm close by to the port. Anyhow, I'll be there before a lot of folks from the rural side come to the town. So they'll meet me there.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? But that industrial action would be the
Last resort,
resort in
after
my
all
book.
dialogue,
At
would
all
have
times.
failed.
But if it comes to a decision like that, so be it. It is time that we stop allowing these people to be laughing at us like that. We're not so foolish. All of us have a nation to build, and we have played our part through the length of time, and we will continue to play our part.
Okay.
Okay? So those are just my takes on both matters. Thanks for listening.
I appreciate that, certainly. And at the same time, I have sent to me a WhatsApp by a diehard Calypso fan. He said, "Good morning. It seems that this vaccination matter is the ideal time for all Calypsonians to band together. It needs leadership." And you're correct. But first, sir, they would have to identify leadership. And we take another call as we speak. Caller, good morning. You're live on Voices.
Hey, Ken, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How about thou?
I am okay. Thank God for life.
Welcome to the program.
I'm not a taxi driver. I'm a
Calypsonian.
scooter man and a smoking vendor.
Mm-hmm.
But for all these years,
Uh-huh.
the taxi men, they been going through problem down there on the port Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And today, they want to put the dispatching part in the tourism.
They did.
I think that means it's going to be from bad to worse.
Well, they did.
Some of the problem presently.
Uh-huh.
And they want to give them more power to deal with them.
Now, what actually
And they
happened?
got to be sick. That's all I want to say.
They did, and now they're asking for it to be reversed.
But that's stupidness.
They did. You know, because they're going to complain, and says, okay, you want tourism, take it over. They did. Now they see the error of the ways. Because the day you can't please 100 people 100% of the time, they complain. And they always want a boss. So they got a boss. And now they're not happy with the boss. They're saying, hey, and my position was, I said it clearly, I am not lifting a finger to help anybody unless they sign a document asking us to. And they did. Because, are you there?
Yeah, listening.
Too many times they complain, and we can do this, and then when you represent them, they back off and leave you alone standing. I stop jumping on people's boat unless I know where it's going.
I agree with you.
So in the process of trying to create a document to approach the authority to deal with their concerns, and there are many, I've been there, I've been seeing them crying, the anger, etc., I will step forward along with the president and represent your interest, but you have to sign and show me that you're serious.
So why do you think if they didn't get justice in the past from the same tourism, they're going to get justice on them now?
Well, you see, people have to see the other
For
side first.
years, all the years they've been complaining.
People have to see the other side
And they think
first.
they're going to get justice. They're going to stop complaining from now. There might be more complaining.
Well, we're hoping to address it. We're hoping to address it. And so that meeting that lasted 4 hours yesterday covered quite a wide range of issues. And so a resolution has to be come to. We were given a time and a place for a meeting. The president or the person to sit and discuss the way forward, which serve the best interest of the country. Not only the taxi drivers, but everybody. And I sat back, I waited, I was silent most of the time because I know the way forward. I don't know everything. But I've been around long enough to know a lot of them came in with the high expectations and it wasn't realized. They complain, but you're not looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And now that tourism are taking it over, then I was saying, hey, whoa, we want it back. So you have to serve the interests of the majority. We'll work with them.
I don't know what I'm thinking there, sir, but I just pray I hope I'll go well.
Yeah, well.
Everybody favor.
What about you? What do you think about the issue with the Calypsonians now? You have to vaccinate to sing. What do you think about that?
No, I don't support that at all. And then you say some lady told you that somebody tell her she don't have to vaccinate because of majority.
She told me that.
What is that?
And now they say, no, you have to be fully vaccinated.
So what is that?
Well,
and she's supposed to take, she wasn't supposed to take that from nobody. She's supposed to take it from whoever in charge.
It was an official of the.
Not somebody tell she.
It was a question posed to a member of the Carnival Committee, and that was the response given to her then. But there's been a ruling from a higher level. I actually spoke to the AG yesterday. I asked a question, and his answer, it made sense to me. But I'm not here to advocate on behalf of. Because I've tried for many years to form an association to address the interests of the Calypsonians. And, they all want to be mercenary all about themselves. So now there's the issue. Yeah. And as the gentleman said, in his leadership, they have to determine the leadership. They have to decide who they want to lead for them. I'm not volunteering. I'm not saying I'm better poised for that. But I'm saying I've been offering. I went to the courts, I paid for document 2 years straight. A constitution for them to come and even adopt, just take it, run with it. At least you have an association that represents your interests, like Dominica, like Antigua, saying it's its own place without a Calypso association. So they have to scramble for themselves now. And
I heard on this same radio station this morning, Island Thief, somebody called the program and said, yes, all Calypsonians stay where they live.
I see.
Whenever they come to send our finance. Well, if they're going to take, they can't have finance. That's what they need. You understand? And I support that 100%. But next thing, I must say this. I want to say it on national radio. But since I'm on, I declined to tell and say this morning, me, Shukai, cannot listen nothing that Shannon Harry said, and I can't ever have on radio, which she on. You know why? A couple years ago, she told a journalist she was not a technical mantle again. Where she be today? I can't listen none.
That happens. That happens.
This kind of world will never come.
That happens.
I can't listen none to she because then the people can't trust. I hear certain nobody tell me to set off. I hear certain journalists so.
Well, in fairness, she would have had the reasons.
How can we listen to anything she said today?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever said you would never get married?
You're back in a poem?
No. I'm saying that times people do things because they have a particular reason at that time. Circumstance changes and then you take a different position. But I'm asking you, have you ever declared that you would never get married?
I said it, and I will say it now.
It's good hearing from you, my friend.
That's my thing. I wanted to talk to you concerning Lord Black. What happened?
I again reached out, and the other person who decided to, who said they would, they all disappear.
Well, we want about a partner. I just want to get something to him.
Okay, I don't have any
But I had to
updates.
get in touch with you. I don't have a number for you. I thought I had a number.
662-4690. 662
4690.
4690, and we'll take it from there.
662
4690.
4690.
Yep, 4690. Give it to me and then give it to him. No.
Oh, my son. When I tell you, I just tell you a while ago.
I hear you.
No, I'm going to have to go with the song.
I hear you.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks. Good time.
Now, my friend here is being funny. He says, in terms of leadership, you are the tallest. Okay. All right. It means I'm easier to hit because I'm taller. You can throw whatever and catch me above the crowd. I'll engage in conversation and see what can be done. But I'm saying leadership has been offered for many years, and they just refuse because they're mercenary. If you're looking at 9 Californians, some in the senior ranking, who cannot take part, it dilutes the quality of the show. Well, in my opinion, but it's not my decision to make. As I said to the AG, I'm not here to advocate. I came to inquire. If there's a discussion and they ask for solidarity, yes, but I am not going to volunteer because I'm getting this second hand from persons who have called me and say, well, this situation, and on their behalf, I inquired. All right? But I just think it's something the public's supposed to know about, and they have a chance to weigh in. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. Then there's 718-265-6948. I'll repeat that. 718-265-6948. Then there is 508-921-4619. Then 0333, that's from the UK, 044-0065, saying good morning to Brenda O'Neill, world traveler back home and logged on to the program. Rosemary Donald up there in New York, once again, good morning to you. Amber, Zara, and Cleo over in Anguilla. I understand our Governor General is doing some traveling. I want to wish him a wonderful day wherever he is. And all the folks who are fans of WINNFM, have yourself a wonderful Friday. Today is International Men's Day. So all the men's, if there's such a word, enjoy your International Day of Recognition. We understand there's the International Women's Day, and day for this is our day. And I don't know who's going to treat us. We have Father's Day as one of those options. But today is International Women's Day, right? So back to topics of the day. Calypsonians are told that they cannot take part in Sugar Mass 50 in terms of the competition unless they're fully vaccinated. Taxi drivers were staging industrial action, and that was thwarted by the government, who said, hey, hold on. Let's sit and dialogue, because realistically, we're just reopening the cruise sector. We've been shut down for a very long time. So that drastic measure would have shut down the ports, or at least interrupted the reopening and created problems that would not be well received by the public at large. One of the rationale they gave me, well, we want to boycott this company. I'm thinking one of the problems is, same company is giving work to X amount of taxi drivers. So those who are benefiting from that will not be on your side. This have to be properly thought out. Now, here's a scenario. I understand, well, the fare from Port Zante to Frigate Bay, to Cockershell, is $10 each way. $10 per person each way. Those who are working for this particular company is getting $9 per person return. So if in their desperation, and I would call it that, they choose to go and work for that, it's up to them. But you create some rancor between those who will be called to work by this particular company. They seem to be getting work. You're not getting any and you're frustrated. I understand that. But question, would you work for $9 return from Port Zante to Cockershell or take the actual right pricing of $10 per person? These are issues that people don't see that haven't been at the surface. We go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices. Welcome to the program. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Hodge.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Long time to hear your voice.
I'm here, I'm blessed.
Wonderful.
Nice to hear your program once again.
Thank you.
I was listening to my radio and television just a little while ago, right? And I was a bit disturbed of someone who was put there by the people as a minister in government. And now that he is the minister of tourism,
okay,
he's not standing up for the people who put him in office to run their affairs.
Okay, make your case.
Because if you have people who go into the taxi business and want to make money, and cruise ship is coming in, why should you talking about putting in bubble? It's a disgrace and a shame to see what Zante have become. Nobody can go in to go to the shops them because of cruise ship and because of this virus. What are they telling the people? We do not want it down there anymore. You have to wait until when the ship them go down there to shop. It is a disgrace. And the need to take down that fencing and let the people them walk freely over at Port Zante where Dr. Kennedy Simmons had the vision of putting it for the people to get rich.
Okay.
Why can't, and you have a ship going over at Carambola or whatever, but name you call it.
Carambola.
Have three piers. You have 3 piers. Why can't they come down here to the normal pier instead of going over Carambola? It's a disgrace for this government to have people in office and doing the taxmen them as they like. But they should remember that they have to come back to the people for a vote.
Okay.
Do not stick with me. I cannot stick with you. What is that they not have been going to the dogs? Look at Mr. Rock. Mr. Rock down there in a bubble can make $1. And he is one who helped put this government in office. And it is a disgrace. They're going on television and chatting a lot of crap.
Isn't Mr. Rock in the bubble?
Mr. Rock is in the bubble. You have to pass security to go in. And even though you're vaccinated, you cannot go in no stores to shop. It's a disgrace.
Well, I bought some liquor over the fence yesterday.
People want to buy things for Christmas to give for their godchildren and their child or whatever. Cannot go down to the same position that Dr. Zimmerman had division for.
I want to give some clarity to that, but I'll let you speak. I'll let you speak and express what's on your mind.
And he didn't have the manners to let one of the person who was in the taxi thing yesterday speak about what happened yesterday.
Who's that?
The minister. He didn't call the name. He said somebody was from the taxi association was there, and he didn't give him a chance to go and hear Alvio.
I was the person I was referring to. I was the person at the press conference that he was referring to.
What are they hiding? They are telling lots of lies to cover up themselves. I'm ashamed. I used to walk down at Port Zante, but I'm ashamed to be a person who had likeness to everybody down there, but not now.
Nah, you can't let people spoil the day. Here's what happened. What you said that
I was one of the best security had in Port Zante, which I used to guideline people of doing certain things down there. I had communication with the taximen them, but they have it the final way of setting me off the table. So I'm home, resting in the arms of God. But I'm hurt.
You're in a nice place, man.
I'm hurt of what I heard this morning from a minister of government.
Okay, I'll try to give clarity to that after we're going to take a station break, and then I'm going to come back and try to give clarity to that, okay? So stay tuned. I'll give you an update. right? We pause for a word from our sponsors.
Decided what to eat yet, hun?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
Buster, pour it up, leave the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster put the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. Buster, you're full of vibes, living for the color. And I'm black and white, we do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Buster, pour it up, different flavor. Load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster put the colors in my life.
Not 5, not 10, but up to $20,000 off a new Toyota Hiace. Choose your Toyota Hiace model, choose your financial institution, and save up to $20,000. Roll out reliable, fresh, and in style with free licensing, registration, and tinting. It's a bus bonanza with up to $20,000 off. TDC Automotive, #1 for a reason.
Welcome back to Voices. If I may respond to some sentiments, I gotta get my thing, expressed by our last caller as it pertains to the bubble, the fencing down at Port Zante. I think it was generally agreed that this was a safety net, a sort of safety mechanism that was discussed with the cruise industry and local authorities as how best to give guarantees of protection to the local population and to the visitor. It's a temporary arrangement that may within the next 4 weeks come down. We're told once we reach that 80% capacity in terms of a vaccinated society, that may come down. On the days that the ships are not in port, it's an open sesame. As a matter of fact, there was a warning given to one of the store owners down there to make sure that their employees were fully vaccinated and that the establishment met the standards. It's a temporary safety mechanism that will not last forever. And I do not have a problem with it. As a matter of fact, I stood by the fence yesterday, called one of the store operators, the owners, or whatever, and I bought me 3 bottles of liquor over the fence. Of course, I spoke to security first. Here's what I'm doing. It's something that we go through. It's an easement. It's a phase situation in terms of reopening the port. And more we see the larger ships are coming because they're satisfied that they're being given guarantees that their passengers will not be let to run through the population, bring an infection in, or get infected. And to date, since they've reopened, phase or not, the cruise industry, we've not had any incidents of COVID being transferred either way. Now, the ships are operating about between 40 and 60% capacity. Some of the persons traveling are still doing so on credit. I mean, globally, just about everybody's income has been affected. So these folks are traveling, don't have the spending power as pre-COVID. So we have to work with what we have until we get up to be able to, well, as close as possible to pre-COVID. So to say that is a disgrace and he does not represent the interest of the people who elected him, I'm not sure about that. I don't know what you're thinking, what your information is, but I can say, and I'm not advocating for any politician, but I'm saying the measures put in place were designed to protect you from an influx of tourists that may not be fully vaccinated. We're told that you have to be fully vaccinated to get on the ships. But even amongst the vaccinated, there have been fatalities. So on those days, if you can't go down there, understand it's for your own protection. In terms of the taxi drivers, what he said this morning was true. And I was there. He said, there's a taxi president here, and if you want, well, what's the effect? If he wants to correct me or whatever. I listened to him. And what he said was a fair representation of what transpired in the meeting. And the issues that led up to that, taxi operators did say they want the tourism authority to take over the dispatching because they were dissatisfied with how things were flowing down there. Now the same taxi drivers saying, hey, we want our own people to represent because what's happening there, and I won't go into the detail, but there's lots of frustration, lots of issues that they're not happy with. And so even though we had the attention of many, hey, we're taking this measured approach to getting this situation resolved, some decided to take it to the streets. And any responsible government will try to head it off. So that meeting from 9 o'clock until 12:30 yesterday was all about getting a clear understanding as why are you unhappy? Don't you see this? We're trying to help this, that. Let's discuss it. Okay, we got a better picture now. We will set up a meeting and put some mechanism in place that would satisfy all parties involved. So sometimes the rash decision, it may not be the best. It's emotion. You have to step back from it. Dialogue has to be entertained firstly. And if at the end of that, as one of the taxi drivers promised, taxi president promised, if at the end of that we don't get any resolution, he himself will lead a demonstration. God forbid. We don't have to come to that. But where we are at this time is trying to deal with the many problems that are surfacing. And there has to be handled in a manner, you have to build out about this. It can't be rational, it can't be emotional, it can't be angry. Anger is an emotion that you have to keep in check. I know a guy right now who regrets for the rest of his life losing his temper, not being in control of his situation. And his life is over because he could not, he's a good guy, could not control his temper. You know. And so emotions are running high. And we will get it solved. The ships are coming. We've waited like almost 20 months for work. The ships are here. It's not working properly. As a matter of fact, I went on radio about 2 months ago and let off. I let off. On the same day, we got a call from the cabinet sec. We need to meet and discuss it. They're not tone deaf. They're not tone deaf. But taxi operators at the same time have to understand what they're asking for. Stop being unreasonable at times in their demands for immediate quick fix. Step back, look at the situation, have dialogue. Because we ran to tourism, we want you to take it over. Taxi drivers, taxi presidents, filling the buses, they're going, they're not helping us. And now tourism don't have any buses for them to fill. But what's happening down there does not represent the best interests of taxi operators. But we're working on it, and we will get it solved. Right? We get it sorted. So my friend, the fence, the bubble will come down. They claim now they're trying to get at least 600 more persons to get to the stage where you can guarantee, where they can guarantee that level of, well, herd immunity, where you can open up the country. We are approaching the midst of the December carnival activities where people want to go back to the cooler fets, Juve, things the way they were before. It's not going to happen overnight, but little by little we're getting there. But it takes measured, rational methods or approach to get back there. We hear that Australia now is about to shut down again. Shut down again. And these are Germany have noted an increase in their cases. In the US, they're saying increased hospitalization for folks who are fully vaccinated. There are too many uncertainties. I mean, as I said in the song, when those in authority speak with scientific certainty, and then the next day they change up the story, it makes things worse. It comes down to the trust issue. Who do I trust? You told me this yesterday. Kids are safe. They don't need a vaccination. No, kids have to take vaccination. Only folks over a certain demographic get it. No, everybody getting it. If you're fully vaccinated, you can't get affected. People fully vaccinated are dying. So there's a certain measure of guesswork, wait and see. You get one dose, you're good. Now you need two. Now you need a booster shot. Now it might be an annual thing. So you research and experiment, and the folks say, hey, not with me. You have to respect all sides, all opinions. Okay? We're at the point where we have to break for the midday newscasts, and hopefully we'll continue the chit-chat on the other side. It's been a pleasure. Good morning to you.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown. Making the headlines, 61-year-old man shot in his home. Public servants in Guyana to receive a 7% increase in salary retroactively for 2021. Internationally, European governments are increasingly restricting the lives of unvaccinated people as COVID-19 infections surge once again. Now, the details. The St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force have confirmed that 61-year-old Clyde Clark of Challengers was shot and injured at his home sometime around midnight. Clark was transported to the Joseph N. France General Hospital where he underwent emergency surgery. The 61-year-old is currently warded and in a stable condition. Police are investigating the matter. Although St. Kitts and Nevis boast one of the highest vaccination rates in the Caribbean, health officials are still fighting against vaccine hesitancy in the Federation.
So there is a big cry for our borders to be completely open. What does this really mean? This really means that there are individuals who want the air traveler and the sea traveler to disembark and integrate into our society. And so the policymakers and the decision makers would have to ultimately make a decision as to the way forward and how open will our borders be.
Said Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws during the last press briefing hosted by the National Emergency Operations Center.
We are asking persons, let us reach that threshold. We said 80%. We are soon there. And do your best. If each one takes one and we reach that threshold of 80% vaccination, then I think the cabinet should feel comfortable in knowing what risk they are willing to absorb here in St. Kitts and Nevis. In particular, looking at the low vaccination rate for our underage teenagers at the age of 12 to 17, I think it is. So if you help us, we are able to help everybody to get to where we need to get at.
Echoed Abdias Samuel, chair of the COVID-19 task force. Dr. Laws also warned that the Delta variant is coming and the fourth wave of community spread is inevitable. The return to normalcy and the return of some sectors to full swing, namely tourism, sports, and entertainment, has been the selling point for the vaccination. Several meetings were held with various sectors on the way forward, according to Samuel. With the increase in tourist arrivals, the cry for contact sports to resume, and the entertainment industry seeing a glimmer of hope in the approval of in-person carnival events, officials are still holding fast that reaching the 80% benchmark with vaccination will determine the way forward.
Subsequent to these meetings, we are going to have meetings with the SCABA, St. Kitts Nevis Basketball Association. We also plan to meet with the cricket associations, volleyball associations, and the other sporting fraternities here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And then we're going to bring everybody collectively together so that we could actually formulate the plan, policies, and procedures to be able to resume sport in a very safe and practical manner. And again, I want to emphasize the point that at times you will have international matches, and if you're aspiring to have international matches, access some of the scholarships in the United States of America, it's best that you consider the possibility of being vaccinated to be a team player, because you can affect your other teammates and also affect their families. So if you could do your best to get vaccinated, that will be a critical thing for you to do.
However, the fight is ongoing to get stakeholders from the different sectors of society vaccinated to allow for the full resumption of the activities in the sports and entertainment sectors. In regional news, public servants in Guyana to receive a 7% increase in salary retroactively for 2021. Guyana News source reported November 18th.
Public servants, including constitutional office holders, teachers, and members of the disciplined forces, will be getting a 7% increase in their salaries for the year 2021. The increase will be retroactive to January and will be taxed. The salary increase announcement was made by the senior minister responsible for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, in a special nationally televised announcement this afternoon.
This increase will be granted retroactively to 1st of January 2021, and work will start immediately to ensure that it is processed and paid to eligible employees together with their December salary and in time for the festive Christmas season. Instructions have already been issued for the work to commence immediately to implement these measures we have just announced. At the same time, fellow Guyanese, your government is also currently working hard on preparations for Budget 2022, which will continue the steps we have already started to take to place our One Guyana irreversibly on the path to national prosperity for the benefit of all Guyanese.
In addition to the across-the-board salary increase, the minister also announced that the government has set aside $400 million as a special payment for frontline workers in the health sector who continue to battle the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. The finance minister said the details of the frontline payout will be announced shortly and will be made to eligible employees before the end of this year. Moving into next year, the finance minister said the government will be looking at the salary scale in the public service and efforts will be made to fix various anomalies.
Your government has recognized the existence of a number of anomalies and disparities across positions within the public service salary scales, as a result of which there are marked inconsistencies across the pay received by persons holding similar qualifications but occupying different posts, depending on the agency in which they work, the post to which they are appointed, and the salary scale in which their post is classified. For example, a new graduate with a degree in environmental science might be earning $120,000 in one agency, while a new graduate with an identical degree in environmental science might be earning $190,000 in another agency. Your government will be taking steps next year to reduce these inconsistencies by making suitable adjustments to salaries in order to improve the parity and consistency with which persons with comparable qualifications are paid. Provisions will be made for this in Budget 2022.
The announcement by the finance minister this afternoon came after months of public servants asking questions about the salary increases. There were no salary increases in 2020, and there was no mention of that in the minister's statement this afternoon. It should also be noted that the president and his ministers and all members of parliament and other constitutional office holders will all benefit from the 7% increase to their salaries. The Guyana Public Service Union has slammed the announced 7% across-the-board salary increase for public servants as shameless and insensitive. GPSU President Patrick Yard, in an interview with News Source this evening, said while the government has offered a 7% increase for 2021, it has offered absolutely nothing for 2020. And that is more than insulting to the public servants of Guyana, who have been working throughout the pandemic over the past 2 years.
First of all, let me say that this is another shameless display of the government. And it is one that we have been putting up with for quite some time with governments. It's not confined to one. And it is one for the entire nation to look at. You know, when they had election campaigning, you had big slogans by this government of 50% increase of public servants. 50%. And after being in office for more than a year, covering a 2-year period, 2020 and 2021, because we're in the month of 2021, all they could come up with is 7% public servants for 1 year after they went through the entire 2020, the most deadly year in my lifetime, the most deadly year from my research for over a century. 2020, they offered not 1 cent.
The GPSU president also said the government continues to ignore the union and has refused to meet with the union on salary increases, despite the union dispatching several requests.
It is so insulting. You know, it is so, to my mind, insensitive with the increase that has occurred in the cost of living over the period 2020 and 2021. And the gimmicks that they are referring to, but with these handouts, about $25,000 and all this nonsense.
According to Mr. Yard, the union had to be smart earlier this year in not calling out the workers to strike at the time when they were dealing with the pandemic and its hardships. The Ghana Public Service Union president said while the government had a lot to say about breaching of the Constitution in relation to last year's elections, it is already doing the same by not respecting the collective bargaining agreement and continuing to ignore the representatives of the workers.
We now bring you these international reports.
Bars are full along the seafront at Benidorm. This resort town on Spain's east coast is popular with UK package tourists seeking an escape from the autumn weather back home. But a spike in local COVID cases recently suggests they may have been bringing something with them.
We don't have proper data on the rise of the infections, but we did notice as soon as tourism came back to this area, the rise of infections came too. This is unquestionable.
So visitors are being offered vaccinations. Some haven't had one at home, and most have arrived on crowded planes.
When we arrived at the airport yesterday, 5 flights all came in at the same time, and there was thousands of people from Manchester, Cardiff, Bristol, all queuing up together. So that's not good if you're trying to keep COVID down to a minimum.
Spain's infection rate is rising, but it's worse elsewhere in Europe. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says a fourth wave has hit her country with full force. Where infections are worse, access to events and restaurants will only be for those who've been vaccinated or who've recovered. Munich has cancelled its Christmas market. Infections in Bavaria are double the national rate of 300 or so per 100,000.
On Monday, it was said that you were allowed to set up. And in the end, the result is that we have to dismantle now, and we have to bear all the costs. Nobody pays us the costs.
In Greece, private doctors are being drafted into the public healthcare system for a month. Hospitals and intensive care wards have been overwhelmed by rising infections recently. Medics are protesting, saying they're overworked and underpaid. Many European countries are caught on the horns of a dilemma. Significant parts of the population don't want to get vaccinated, but nor do people want more restrictions on their day-to-day lives.
Well, those who are unvaccinated obviously are more susceptible to getting infected and having severe symptoms. So they're driving the pandemic. The other issue is that European countries are being very reactive rather than proactive. There's been largely a focus now on vaccination and less of a focus on other control measures like face masks in interiors and the COVID certificate, which I think is incredibly important.
The death tolls aren't what they were earlier in the outbreak, but people are still dying. And once again, Europe is the centre of the world's COVID-19 pandemic. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera.
The Sumas Prairie is British Columbia's agricultural heartland, but now it's submerged. In fact, Sumas Prairie had been Sumas Lake for millennia before it was drained in the early 20th century for settlement. Now it's a vast floodplain, particularly vulnerable to more frequent weather extremes that scientists warn us to expect in the changing climate. Over 2 days this week, a month's worth of rain fell here. Now thousands are displaced or cut off, roadways, railways and bridges have been washed away. Some of those rescued are staying in this shelter, with no idea of when they can return home, given the continued flooding and the uncertainty about the structural stability of transport routes that remain.
I've heard 2 days to 10 days to no one knows, so yeah, I heard 2 days 2 days ago, so I'm still here.
Farmers have desperately been trying to rescue their livestock. Some 20,000 dairy cattle once grazed here. Many are thought to have perished. In Washington, D.C., after the so-called Three Amigos summit with his U.S. and Mexican counterparts, the Canadian Prime Minister pledged coordinated action.
We will continue to work with Indigenous communities to keep people safe. We'll work with the province, with industry and all other partners on logistics, on repairs, on getting goods moving.
Trudeau did mention climate change in general terms, but didn't take the opportunity to link the catastrophic flooding in British Columbia to greenhouse gas emissions. But climate scientists are being explicit. They say the disaster is part of a destructive cycle caused by human-induced global warming. Just a few months ago, a record heatwave caused by changing jet streams led to forest fires that stripped the landscape of trees and the stability of their root systems. That was then followed by intense storms fueled by the warming ocean that washed away everything in their path.
In the past, climate scientists were reluctant to say that one specific weather event was definitively connected to global warming, but now, such is the strength of the science, that ambiguity is gone. They say this is what climate change looks like. Shihab Ratansi, Al Jazeera, Abbotsford.
You were listening to the WINNFM headline news on 98.9. Our top stories were 61-year-old man shot in his home. Public servants in Guyana to receive a 7% increase in salary retroactively for 2021. Internationally, European governments are increasingly restricting the lives of unvaccinated people as COVID-19 infections surge once again. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
Pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the second half of Voices. Today, the 19th day of November, is being regarded around the globe as International Men Day. Somebody said men's. So, for all the men out there, let's enjoy, embrace, and celebrate our day. Okay? International Men Day. Men's Day. Call it how you want. It's our day to celebrate and do what we want. Take off the lady. I mean, make sure we got to take you out. I don't know. Sister Sylvian Henry, I have a little news for you that may make you smile a bit more. From our last program, a friend of mine up there in New York, Rosemary Donald, and I think she's listening, was so very much impressed with your presentation and the information you shared about UWI. Thought it was very timely because her granddaughter is in the process of selecting a university to attend, probably heading to Texas. And she's now thinking of going to UWI. Now she's not Trinidadian by birth. She's not Trinidadian by birth. She's actually American, but her grandmother and her heritage is TNT. So based on your presentation about the advantages of going to UWI and the curriculum, she is thinking of heading to Trinidad next month and enrolling her granddaughter at UWI. So you never know who's listening and who's impressed. I mean, like we're here in SKN. We live in a virtual world, but she was able to listen and you were able to make an impression on her to the point that Savannah may end up going to UWI. You know what I mean? And so, if I may go back to this morning's segment, we cover issues of, taxi drivers. Calypsonians now told they have to be fully vaccinated in order to take part in Sugar Mass 50. And there's some angst, there's been some pushback, there been some discussion on the topic. Let me pause on that point and take a call from the public caller live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
Good day, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you? I know it's Johnny. Don't tell me it's Johnny. Good afternoon. You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay, Johnny.
Now, you said something before the news break about the vaccine. You know, we have taken the 2 shots, and you've mentioned that there is now saying that there's a booster shot.
Roll up for the booster shot.
The King, let me say this. I've mentioned this yesterday morning on Island T. Now, this vaccine, remember first, the goal was 70% herd immunity.
It's now 80?
I think they already achieved the 70%, which were to the adults first. And now we're going after the youth.
The Pickaninny.
I mentioned yesterday morning on Island T that we are at war. You see, the King, we have departed from our culture, and those who are in charge, those who are ruling, those who are running things, those who have created the system, they have our history at their fingertip. They have our blueprint at their fingertips. You see, they have experimented with drugs before, and they know the question they are asking themselves, why is it we have melanin that correlates with the sun and they don't have it?
You mean the grudge?
So, sorry?
You mean the grudge?
The King, I'm just the voice that is causing, or should I say, want to cause our people to raise their conscious thinking.
Okay.
Now, we are the guinea pigs. So, they've been studying us, and they are experimenting with drugs. Now, let me get to the point with the youth. The book tells us that we must teach our children and our children's children that when they grow up, they may not depart. Well, we have already departed. So the 70% herd immunity, they already achieved that. These people are going to live maybe for till 80 years, maybe in the next 10, 15 more years. So who they're going to go after next? Because they know that their time is up. And in order for that, they have to go at the youth, because Never before. And for those who would say, oh, well, we ain't just start taking vaccine. But look at how this vaccine are being pushed. Look at this agenda with this vaccine. And think about it, people. Think about it, because, you see, we have melanin. Our melanin is in line with the sun. And the process of these drugs is either to slow down or to speed up the rate of melanin. Now, when that happens, it affects the brain. You can do your own research. Don't take it from me. Because you see, when we observe our melanin from the sun, it goes into something called serotonin. What is serotonin? Serotonin is blackness. So the chemists, they've been experimenting in their lab by studying our melanin and the drugs. Now, I don't know if this vaccine that they have created will be slowing up or affecting our brains 10, 15 years from today. But what they have been experimenting on is what is being thrown at us, and it is either to slow down or to speed up the process of our longevity. The king, we are at war. Now, we who have taken the first 2 shots, you mentioned it before the news break, is that there's a booster shot coming. When are they going to be satisfied? When are they going to be satisfied? Because again, none of our doctors here knows what is in the vaccine. And for those who are going to say, yes, our black people are in the chemistry labs and all of that, well, who are they working for? Because we have had our educated people, the lawyers, the doctors, the governors, and all of them who have signed. We know who they have signed on to. Because what they have signed to is saying you cannot deviate from this. They have allowed those people, the educated ones, to rule on their behalf on the system that they have set up. Colonization. I want our people to think, the king, I am the voice in the wilderness, among other people. Raise your consciousness and raise your thinking to a higher level, because we are at war. Thank you for hearing me.
Most certainly, one of our more consistent contributors to the program. Any calls there? Okay. Is there another caller on the line? Caller, you live on Voices? Okay, we would have lost that caller. All right, and going back to the press conference this morning, there was some takeaways that Mr. Grant outlined. He said it started the program to reopen the cruise sector from 1st June, and we started with 1 ship. We're now up to with the figures. For December, they expect some 58 ships. From the last press conference, the figures were less. I'm trying to find that particular segment. You say, okay. 31 calls for November and 58 calls for December. Now, this is one of the issues that has caused some angst amongst the drivers. We're hearing of the increased number of calls, but if it's not reflected in the amount of jobs passed on. So I don't want to be here singing, oh, we get 31 calls in November and 58 calls in December, and people tell me, how are you this and that? So I just got an update from the Product Development Officer in Tourism that the meeting I said we would have on next Wednesday, because there will be mega ships important on that day, that meeting is now moved to Monday morning at 8 or 8:30. I'll get it correct. The other president, Mr. Richardson, had been notified. The other one, the third one, we have yet to reach him. But it means that the process will be accelerated, where we can sit with the folks in authority and discuss, so that when the ships hit port, even though they're coming at, say, 40 or 60% capacity, we will be able to disseminate work to our drivers. We know for a fact that a hungry man is an angry man. We want to diffuse that situation by meeting the requirements work-wise of those who have waited some 20 months to see their accounts, be able to feed their families properly, address their mortgages, and have less sleepless nights. So we pause now for a call from the public. Call here live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
I'm back.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome back.
I have listened to the program ever since I called in and, listened out throughout. And I can't help but just to identify the long, old psychology, that old playbook, that thing from that old playbook, the ideology of we heard about there were groups of persons, and it was it was no concern to none of the groups. But the first group, was confronted by the ideology, and the other groups looked by and said, "That's not my concern."
Oh, I know what you mean.
The next group came, and I'm saying it to say, now that is the Calypsonians' turn. How many of the Calypsonians have showed solidarity with the outcry of other persons, other groups that have met their demise, and and so forth? So now it seems like it's the Calypsonians' turn, and it's not going to end with the Calypsonians. I can assure you. So all the other groups out there, say something, do something, because you're going to be reached. And so what I am seeing from tourism, and I want people to notice something from tourism, it is good that, I heard that they're meeting on a bi-weekly, and notice how they listen sometimes. Not all the time. Notice how they listen when things is at a zenith, and, the pot is almost to boil over. Let us turn down the fire under it. And these are the things. Yes, these people study psychology to the highest degree, but we also analyze psychology in nature. We see how the birds, the bees, the trees, nature reacts, and we learn from that. So that's my university in terms of what psychology is. So here we're seeing now is the Calypsonian turn. But I'm asking the Calypsonians, how many of you have blown your voices to the plight, the cry of others who have met the demise of this? And now tourism is quelling the fire a little bit. They're so reactive. They're reactive. And it is good that every bi-weekly they're going to update and announce us. But no matter how many ships comes in the town, if the millions of ships comes in the town and it only suffices to benefit 1%, 2%, and not the entire nation, it is wrong, it is wrong, it is wrong, it is wrong, it is wrong. So tourism, I am going to show solidarity with those who have met certain obligations and still as hungry as the others who did not meet no obligation. But all of us are hungry while we wait for the crumbs from others' tables. And so this is the plight. Tourism, you continue to be reactive as if you're playing with the people's mind forever. It's not going to last forever. So stop being reactive and deal with the matter, and don't think that you could always turn down the fire. The more you delay it by turning down the fire, the more the core of the fire, like a volcano, the belly of the fire is boiling up over there, and eventually one day it will spill over. Just like how nature is reacting to things that has hurt nature and the earth, it is selective with those who hurt the earth they will be selective as opposed to those who did not do harm to the earth.
Understood.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for your contribution. If I may say something on behalf of the situation as it relates to taxi. Our approach, and I'm speaking about the presidents who represent the majority, may have been a bit slow, but there's a reason for that. We've been hearing the angry cries, we've been seeing what's happening, and taking on the urgent to do something about it. Urgently, you have to do something. The approach I took was one that's measured. Let's do a drive to get as many signatures as possible, so when we go to sit, we can say, these are the folks. You have, let's say, 125 vaccinated workers, operators. We have 80 plus. And we were able to achieve that. But before we got to that communication with the tourism authority, the other drivers decide to take it to the streets. So in the meeting yesterday, two things emerged. We didn't go in there on one page. And so we're speaking maybe against our own interests, but people's frustration had to be addressed. And we paused for a call from this person. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Good afternoon, Secretary.
Good afternoon, sir.
I called to ask a question.
Shoot.
Now, I follow the tourist industry because I love ship and plane. Now, I want to ask. You're a knowledgeable man, and you're a man who in tourism long time. No, I want to ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, way back in Simmons' time, the taxi man had problems.
Mm-hmm.
Labor came in, they spent about 20 years, the taxi man had problems.
Mm-hmm.
Unity in power, the taxi man them have problems.
Yep.
Who is really the culprit? The government or the taxi man them ain't know what they want? What is the problem? Because, Mr. Let me say this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons had hover chairs, 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Labor had 20. That's how much? About 28 years, right?
Yes.
All right.
37 years, roughly.
37 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Unity coming forward have 6 now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, okay, they got 6 here. They only got 2. So, somebody got to be the problem. Who is the problem? The taxi man or the government? Because it looks like a joke is stuck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me tell you something. I watch the taxi men, some of them, not all, at the ferry terminal. I'm telling you, I like the way they get on. Period, I don't like how some of them get on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watch them, and I say, boy, will I ever be a taxi man the way they get on? Sometimes I wonder if they're making it good for themselves or bad. Sometimes they try to cut one another from making the money. I see it straight. I remember I would hear a fellow calling a price for an island tour, and next one come with a placard and tell him, I could do it cheap, and telling the man straight out, and got the white man confused.
This comes from not
understanding. And I watch it and I say, man, what really going on here, man? These people are united, they're together. It's like money is the problem. And for all these years, these taxi men got a problem. The government, I wonder if it's the government or the taxi man ain't know what they want. So I want you to help me and help the general public and the world at large. Thank you.
Okay, let me give a scenario. There are 2 established taxi associations. There was one, they broke away, they have 2. There's the Limega Taxi Association, they're just in orange. Then there's the Sinkers Taxi, they're dressed in the other president trying to reach me. So where was I now? So we have two established taxi associations, the Limega Taxi, they're just in orange. There was in blue, Sinkers Taxi. And it became evident that the travel, well, you know, the tour operators here were playing one against the other. For instance, we'll go to negotiate for the new season the pricing for the tours, and we'll find the issues. Example, one year we went to negotiate with that particular entity. The price for the tours were $15. They decided to drop it to $13 and add an additional feature to the tour. St. Kitts Taxi decided we're not taking it. The other one decided we're taking it. And so the practice of working one against the other has been the problem. So, after a long discussion, we decided to amalgamate. At our AGM, the St. Kitts Taxi Association took a resolution to form one association with the Limega Taxi, which they had agreed to. At their AGM, they said no. And so, playing one against each other and individually working against our own interests means that we do not understand our industry. There's unity in strength. Now the discussion is on now to amalgamate under one umbrella. Until you do that, you're being played. I mentioned earlier today that the fare from downtown to Cockershell is $10 per person each way. These guys are working for that particular entity. It's getting $9 return. Some of them are members of their own association, so you're undercutting your association's strength to negotiate on your behalf and working for the competition. So you're right. Many of us didn't join the industry with a sense of joining an organization. You know, well, it's my boss. You can't tell me what to do and what to charge. And that's been the problem. It used to be that to become a taxi driver, you had to be vetted by the association executive. The government or the tourism authority would call you in. What do you think of the industry? Can we take 1, 2, or 3 drivers added to the stock? That was the way you became a driver. We said, okay, we can take 2 or 3, and those persons will be vetted on a 3-month probationary program, you know. And it just changed overnight because of a vote. We go back to the phone lines. Call your live on voices.
No, it's me the guy who's calling to you. Just call back in to just listen to you and to make me a thing. Now, if you got more to say, say it. Let me listen.
While I was doing that?
You finished?
No, well, you have something to say?
Continue. I only just calling to just connect a couple of the station.
Okay. Are you close to your radio? Can you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and
yes. So that's been the process where, and you find out, the government and all successive government in their attempt to create more jobs and more businesses, because you have to register as a business, and that adds to the treasury stock. People just came from nowhere and, okay, you want a job? Invest in taxi, because when the cruise ship season is high, you see all the ships in port, it looks very lucrative. And people are encouraged to invest. They take out mortgages. And then they get to the port, and it's a free-for-all. So Monday, you didn't get a job. Tuesday, you didn't get a job. Wednesday, you start to hustle. And then you start cutting the price because you have to meet the banks at the end of the month. So that goes to the mismanagement of the industry. You must determine how many persons can be entertained in that particular industry before you make it a free-for-all. So then, having done that, people are now obligated to see about themselves. So when these corporations offer you, okay, I'm going to give you $4 for a tour, which supposed to begin 10, you don't want to, but you take it. I told my president back then, I will not do that particular tour. You can't take my tour from $15 a head to 13, add on an extra feature, and I take it, and I refuse. Until we grow a spine, amalgamate, and compete. We have no call at this stage to be down there arguing with the other people. They're doing what they do for the bottom dollar. They have a company they registered. Their business is to ensure that they make as much for their companies themselves. We now have to decide how are we going to move forward. So in the process of that discussion, amalgamate as one and compete at the same level. We have the rolling stock. We have the experience. As a matter of fact, when they book people here to bring them here, we are the same drivers. So we have the experience. We are vetted. We have the rolling stock. Get our act together and change that argument about this company and that company. That's what we're doing now. And so the signatures we collected, we're working on that interest. Who don't want to join? I don't give. I don't care. We're working with those who identify the problem and can see a solution so that next season you don't have to go down there and fight with other people about getting work. You're represented through an organization that's advocating on your behalf to bring work to you, and that's what we're doing.
Secretary.
Sir.
You know, how I picking it up, right, is the taxes is the problem.
I just tell you that. I agree with you.
Yes, because you know saying that they're not cooperating. No, let me say
they're not cooperating.
Let me say this, thing. I've been watching a lot of things. I do watch a lot of things. You notice, St. Kitts is the only country in the world that don't have proper unions. You notice that?
I didn't really notice that. I didn't compare, but I know our union has challenges.
You have the teachers union and you have the police corporation.
Yep.
But what I'm talking about, the factory workers, the construction workers, and other blue-collar workers, you don't have a union to represent. And you know why? Well, some of the faults come from the old union. I'm not going to call the name, the old union. But what I noticed with we Kittitians, we don't like to cooperate. We don't like to come together. We don't like to
I hate to disappoint you. People are the same all over the world. You don't label us as that. Everybody, every nationality do that way.
Listen to what I'm saying. I am in St. Kitts, and I'm dealing with St. Kitts. Because I travel. I reach as far as Canada, and I see people up there fighting to join unions. I see people. I mean, you can't be a carpenter in America unless you join the union. You have to join the union. All those taxis on the road have unions. They have, boy, they don't have one, you know. They have a lot, but they join.
We have 3 in St. Kitts.
But we have 3 in St. Kitts, and it's problem. We got to learn to understand that we reach this stage that we cannot do it ourselves. We got to come together and do things together.
Very well said.
Just recently, wait, just let me finish. Just recently, you heard what do you call it? Okay, I'm going to say a teacher from Africa, a professor, who telling you the reason why Africa are failing is because they are not together. And we got to come together as black people. Forget the past. We can't put it out of our mind. But let me put it there and do what we got to do and move together. It is the taxi association and the taxi people are too old to be fighting now.
Yeah,
government and they still fighting.
I'm grandpa now. I'm grandpa, some old.
But that's what I'm saying.
All
I mean, when you listen every year, we hear that, the taxi this, the taxi that, the taxi, blah, 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 blah. Come better, man.
Okay.
We show the world that we can organize and do things in a right way.
Not to cut you, but you're repeating, and we need to pause for a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, go ahead. Not a problem. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. As we pause for a word from our sponsors, but thank you for your contribution.
Paint it, style it, improve it. Your walls, paint it. Your rooms, style it. Your home, improve it with huge savings at the Hoxford's Building and Nevis Center's Paint It, Style It, Improve It sales event. Come to Hoxford's Building and Nevis Center now and get savings of 25% off all paints, plus deals and discounts store-wide on home improvement items.
Paint it with 25% off all paints. Style it and improve it with other deals and discounts store-wide.
It's your home, so paint it, style it, and improve it at the Hoxford's Building and Nevis Center. Paint it, style it, improve it sales event. 25% off all paints and more. Come now, save big, and simply paint it, style it, and improve it. Event starts now and ends December 31st, 2021. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
I want it all.
Friday, the 19th day of November is International Men's Day, and we go straight back to the lines. Call your live and voices.
Good afternoon, Socrates.
Good afternoon, sir.
I just want to make a general comment, although it is related to the topics that we've been discussing this morning and this afternoon. It's a concern I've had for some time. It's on the way this government operates.
Okay.
And I think a previous caller referred to it in passing. The government is reactive rather than proactive. It operates, it seems like, it's always putting out fires, right, instead of preventing them from being started. It can't plan, and it can't anticipate, things that might happen. It isn't nimble enough to handle unforeseen circumstances or deal with contingencies. And I'm talking about its MO before COVID. I mean, yes, it's been exacerbated since COVID. But everybody knows that COVID changed everything and there was no playbook for it. Yes, we all know that. But that is no reason to not plan. Okay? It's not any reason not to engage in what-if scenarios. No reason not to have certain triggers to deal with particular changing circumstances. And as a result, they seem to govern in a chaotic, confused way. Everything is ad hoc or play it by ear or wing it or wait for pushback. I don't know if it is because of the way the unity government was set up and every minister practically walks on thin ice and the prime minister is not strong enough to make a decision and convince all his ministers to go along. Mm-hmm. But everybody seems to be doing their own thing and there is little or no coordination. Okay, and that is why, for instance, you have all the confusion. Meetings that should have been had months ago are only now being organized. Press conferences and statements are being made more for damage control than for sharing information in advance for the benefit of stakeholders. There doesn't seem to be a genuine attempt to consult and partner with stakeholders either. Or put it this way, the partner and consult with selected stakeholders. You have to be a big guy. The little guy is ignored and is talked down too, right? I mean, you see it everywhere. That's why we have piers that are built that are not fit for purpose. That you have, it costs nearly twice as much as original designs and still end up not being able to hold like 2 Oasis-class ships. That is what it was designed for. That's why we have bus terminals that have to be redone or altered. That's why we have traffic lights that have long since been installed but are not commissioned. Projects that have time and cost overrun. These things waste taxpayers' money. If the government don't have the ideas or can't execute properly, then it needs to go. I heard Premier Brantley the other night he called in on a show and was lambasting the opposition for not presenting ideas on how to do things, or at least how to do them better. Well, what we elect the government for? You might have well have elected the opposition then, okay, since the present government cannot deliver what it said it would. You know, I would advise them, see, since they are so incompetent, that they look at what other islands are doing for guidance. Use the best practices that have been established by other more proactive governments in the region. Rather than just stay here frustrating citizens with the hesitancy and the waffling and the indecision and the poor decisions and reversing decisions, it's ridiculous now, right? They need to function as a government. They're not functioning as a government. They need to govern. Stop playing politics. That is what they do all the time.
Okay.
Everything is politics. Govern. That's what you were elected to do.
Politicians. Okay, sir. Thank you for your contribution. You did say you would be speaking in a general sense. Okay, so I'm going to leave with some specifics as it relates to the Tourism Authority. We have had a series of meetings going back. It may not have been 100%, but there's been communication with the taxi presidents going back sometimes. So what's happening now is something that developed as a result of how things have been unfolding since the reopening of the cruise industry. Prior to that, pre-COVID, we've been in dialogue. As was pointed out, the majority of the taxi drivers agitated that they wanted the Tourism Authority to take over the dispatching. And of course, any responsible government would go along with what the majority wanted. They did that. Now, what has happened since the reopening of the ships are now coming, what's happening down there at the port is not in the best interest of the taxi drivers, operators, and they have agitated now to return the dispatching to the taxi associations. I mentioned that there was a scheduled meeting for next Wednesday. I got an update in the last 15 minutes saying Monday is best for that meeting. So we move forward, we'll be able to sit. So if you want to call this reactive, it's a matter of your perspective, but I'm saying we've had dialogue with the Tourism Authority, and we've had some issues and challenges, but to say that they're just reacting to this is a new set of circumstances. And having got that feedback on Wednesday, they were able to cut it off by Thursday morning in a meeting that lasted some 4+ hours. So yes, sometimes you have to react to what's happening in real time, and you can't always anticipate. So I'm just dealing with this particular aspect. You were speaking in a general sense. I'm dealing with what's happening on the ground. We are addressing it, right? And there's been mistakes, missteps, miscommunication along the way that has caused us to come to this juncture. We are now addressing it. In terms of the cruise pier, the one that has to be redredged, etc., there was some information on that. That's being done. A question was asked, why is the government paying to get it done when the arbitration would have indicated that the company that did it, and it was answered. Because of the company that has to do the dredging, they're just next door in Antigua. And if they're allowed to disassemble the equipment and go back to wherever it costs more, $1 million more to have them to come back. So they will they will spend whatever they have to get that pier up and operable ASAP. And then deal with the other ramifications later on. So that's reactive in a positive way, rather than wait until the company leave Antigua to go elsewhere, or rather than wait until the other company responsible to deal with the damage already paid now up front. You have the ability. It means this reflects in a boost in the economy, because if you have to wait until the next season to get your ships, your ports ready. So whatever happened with that contract is now being addressed. So reacting to it, there are times you have to react, right? Whether they can govern or not, you'll have for everyone that said they can't, two will say they can, and vice versa. We live in a democracy with opinions. reflected, may not be factually based. It may be just politics. I just say they're playing politics. Well, as Goebbels said, he who can control the mind of the masses, right, is the one who runs things. Once you can control the mind of the masses, so it's a game. It's psychology. And we know that. We know that. Once you understand it, you take your emotions out of it and enjoy the game, right? So there we have it. Rosemary, I don't know if you missed what I mentioned because you logged on late. That no, it was Sylvian Henry I was supposed to address this to let you know my friend up in New York who is Trinidadian by birth. In hearing your representation of UWI about the curriculum and the advantages of going there, her granddaughter is in the U.S. now, New York to be precise, thinking about going to a university in Texas, but she's now thinking of going to the UWI because of the programs they have there and it's better, blah, blah, blah. So Sylvian Henry, give yourself some kudos for that. You were able to get someone to send their granddaughter to UWI based on on the representation. So to Amber who just joined on, yes, I don't do voices on Fridays, so you didn't expect it. I am in the chair for the next 25 minutes perhaps. So good afternoon once again to you, Lady Lois, and Zara and Cleo. So I guess I'm safe. We won't have to take off my head. Right? So, back to things that we're discussing. Ongoing work at Frigate Bay interrupted because of the cruise ship. You can't work when the ships are in port. The Harmony of the Sea is due here on Wednesday. I think that's the day you're going to have, on the 16th of December, you're going to have some 6 ships in port. Right? CEO Brum spoke of the caution that we must exhibit and take example from what happened in New Zealand, and Australia, the fact that their numbers are going up and they're shutting down again. Germany is experiencing some increase in the COVID cases. So it's not all over. And as I said earlier, everyone coming off the ships, based on information provided by Mr. Grant, has to be fully vaxxed, except for children under the age of 12. Sometime in December, once, based on the information sheet, and this was in response to a question posed by Jason from ZLZ. Mr. Grant said, in response to the question, once we reach that 80% herd immunity, that's the phrase they're using, and they say they're about 630-something persons away from that target, then they can relax some of the restrictions. Example, the bubble at Port Zante, the fence will come down. You'll have the interaction of the visitor downtown. The downtown vendors are looking for that because once you come off the ship, you can only browse around Port Zante. The average guy downtown is not having that. They're looking at the other rub vendors and hair braiders now to get them training as to how to approach their daily bread. You're dealing with a person who may or may not be vaccinated. No, they said they have to be fully vaccinated, but even if you're fully vaccinated, you can. So still observe all the protocols. I mean, I spent some money on my truck last week. I bought about the gloves and the mask and this spray to sanitize the hands and garbage bins and all that. I passed inspections, so now I'm waiting for when they call me for a job. It's been rough. It's been some 20 months. And we're creeping to get there. It's a phased reopening. We have lots of problems that has popped up as a result of the approach, and it has to be addressed. Whether it's reactionary or not, it will be addressed. And I'm happy to announce, hey, David Brandy, I know you're into your farming right now, but anybody see Brandy, let him know that we have to attend a meeting at the Tourism Authority office. I think it's 8:30 on Monday morning. I'll back check to be sure, so we are not late. It might be 8 o'clock. I'll back check to be sure, so we can go and represent the interests of the taxi fraternity. They've asked us now to, we assume with the dispatching we're going to discuss that. So yes, they're listening and they're responding to the requests of the taxi drivers. To date, it's been some weeks now since we've opened up, and there's been lots of tours. From the cruise experience, it has been successful. There are no reports of any spread, contact, or otherwise. Right? Hopefully by mid-January, we can see the ships returning with their full capacity. They're now about 40, 60% capacity. And of course, these folks, the economy is also being devastated. They don't have the spending power as they had before. 11 independent tour operators are now able to go on the port and collect their passengers. You recall a few weeks ago, a particular lady spoke very passionately about not being able to go to the port and collect her pre-booked tours. That's now being addressed, and they say 11 independent operators now able to get to Port Zante to collect their passengers. So things, the roll of a vaccinated population has resulted in the 2020 cruise season being off to a spectacular start with over 50 calls in December, 58 to be precise. On December 16th, there'll be some 6 ships in port that day. I really want to make some chiching. I want to make some chiching. Somebody tipped me some days ago with some coins. God bless them. No problem. But then I checked again, and there was some euro, which I didn't see. I got a short job to take some folks on a panoramic tour. Panoramic tour, which now includes going down to the Batik factory and then up to Timothy Hill. So made some gas money. Thank God for little favors. We've been patient so far, and things have not gotten off on the perfect launch, but we're going to get there. Okay? We're going to get there. So we had calls from Chukai. We had calls from Preacher. We had called from Mr. McMahon and a few others speaking about, expressing their concerns, their perspective. It's Friday, the 19th day of November. It's International Men's Day. And, I'm losing my voice. Tomorrow night, this may or may not be, because I don't know what the Calypsonians are going to do in a general sense, but I know yesterday afternoon I was at the band house where few came to practice, those from Nevis and others came to go through the paces. There was never any discussion amongst them, me too, as to whether or not a stand should be taken in support of the 9+ Calypsonians who will not be able to take part in Sugar Mass 50 because they're not vaccinated. The AG has said that only fully vaccinated patrons will be allowed at various venues. Now they're saying the artists, band members, etc., they too have to be fully vaccinated in order to participate in those events. And so they're those who have good songs. We're gearing up. I mean, like some of the hard-hitting contenders. But until there's a discussion, there's a call, well, Socrates, let's discuss how do we deal with this. They have to initiate it. As my friend said, I'm the tallest, so I should lead. I'm tall, with no hair in my head. Somebody pick me out easily. You know what I mean? And change my hairstyle, so I want to keep. I want to make myself a target no more. I've tried over many years to form an association for not taxi drivers, Lord, and all kind of things. For Calypsonians, so they can be represented and such. Example, when the prize of $20,000 was mentioned as the prize for this year, Mr. Blanchett says, no, but that's not enough. You're supposed to give more because the 50th anniversary. When we had the 25th anniversary of Carnival or what it was, Independence, I think it was, you paid $25,000. Now we have, and he was nobody. There were Calypsonians there who did not respond or support him. He said, Socrates, you're talking for? I said, me? And all the other Calypsonians said nothing in support. Yes, I think Quantash said something about it. Honestly spoke about the fact that it's the 50th anniversary. You're still doing 7 plus the Monarch. Why can't you increase it to maybe 9 or 10? Because in the previous year, you ran 20 Calypsonians, each singing one song. So if you increase it to 9 plus the Monarch, it's the same 20. It didn't get enough support. And so these things come up as suggestions, recommendations that will benefit us. But if you don't have the support or the interest from the others, it dies a slow death. Right? And we pause once more for a word from our kind sponsors. Then we come back and look at 50 minutes before the close of today's episode of Voices.
It's that time again. Triple Cashback is back, but with more. Triple your cashback with Triple Play. Triple the savings, triple the cashback, and get a chance to win. Triple the cashback for more free groceries at Hospital Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store today. Yes, for the rest of 2021, Hospital Furniture and Appliances is tripling your savings with triple cashback coupons for even more free groceries for all FlexPay hire purchase customers. But that's not all. Every hire purchase customer gets a chance to win up to triple their triple cashback in free groceries in the Triple Play. The Triple Play game show gives 2 lucky customers a chance to triple their triple cashback for free groceries and win lots and lots of prizes and more. If you get $500 in coupons for free groceries, you get a chance to get up to triple that amount with our Triple Play game show promotion. That means you get $1,500 in coupons for free groceries. And remember, every hire purchase customer gets a chance to win free groceries for a year. Hostwood's Triple Cashback Triple Play. Come now. Don't miss it.
Drop everything and come now to Hoxford's Auto Parts and Accessory Center for their big Drop Everything sales event for the rest of 2021. Go to Hoxford's Auto Accessories and Parts Center where they'll be dropping 30% off select accessories, 20% off car batteries. But the rubber really hits the road with this deal. 20% off all tires or get 1 tire free with a purchase of 4 tires. Buy 4 tires, get 1 free from now until the end of 2021. So drop everything and come now to Hoxford's Auto Parts and Accessories. Drop Everything sales event. Now dropping 30% off select accessories, 20% off batteries and tires. Or buy 4 tires, get 1 tire free. Drop everything and go now to Hoxford's Auto Accessories and Parts Center.
We are the best.
The Federation's favorite auto parts and accessories store.
With about 12 minutes to go in this program, we say welcome back to Voices. We are ticking down. And if you wish to weigh in on any of the topics that was raised today, we got 466-0989, 762-0989, 762-0989, 718-265-6948, 508-921-9619. Then there's 0333-044-0065. Journey, I must say I agree with you on the issue of the ever-changing landscape when it comes to the vaccination. It was first 1 shot, and then you were good to go. Then you need 2 shots. And then we need a booster shot. And you may need one per year. They're now saying that the efficacy of the shots may not last beyond 6 months. We know with the quote-unquote flu vaccination, it's an annual top-up. So the question is, if you want to reach a population and convince them, you have this ever-changing seed set of information. It confuses these people and you creates a mistrust. So you're right. Whether it's by design or what, there is this aspect of just about every day you hear something different, or something that you have to put in your body, or you're asked to put in your body. You have to trust the science. Trust the science, but the science keeps changing. Now, from this platform, I've never used it to advocate for or against taking any vaccine. I've never done that. But what I'm saying, when those in authority speak with scientific certainty, the next day they change up the story. Okay? We heard 70% herd immunity, now it's 80%. Okay. So you can't say that you don't have a society that's not cooperating. But it's fair to ask the question, why did it go from 70% to now 80%? If your answer is not really satisfactory, but at least you give an answer. So sometimes it comes down to communication. Not everybody will look at the daily briefing, but I'm told by Mr. Abdul Samuel, we get to 80% with some 630 persons away from that target. Then we can relax much of the restrictions. We now know that the curfew has been lifted, not only here but in Trinidad. They've done away with the state of emergency. So as of Wednesday, I think it was, the curfew here has been lifted. You can go down party, but we pause for a call. Call your live on voices.
Hey, good afternoon, Socrates. How are you doing?
I call your name so many times, my wife. You done with me or something? Huh?
Well, me ain't gonna done with you until you're done with me.
we good.
What is song you say? You there with me or me there with you? Who there with who?
You understand? So yes, did you hear I spoke about...
We are all one in Christ.
We all one in Christ, that's true.
Now, I called for my good friend Journey, and I think it's time enough somebody tells Journey what I have to say.
What you have to say?
Yes.
All right.
Now, I do appreciate his enthusiasm for the black people, Africa in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But it does not add to the debate by the name calling of people of other races.
I agree with you.
That is the same behavior that is being practiced on us. We can't, you hear, nobody call us nigger, nobody call us this, nobody call us that, and the Leviathan. And I mean, really, we concentrate on our point. That is why sometimes when people get into debate, they lose.
Yes.
They start off good, but when, because he keep doing it.
They diverge.
Then you are no better than them. Your point, your lobby becomes weakened.
And personal.
Because, as I say, in every black person is a brother. And certainly not every white person is your enemy.
Point taken.
So as much as we hate the atrocities, there's no question about it. That's why I love Jesus, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they do. Because they only make you stronger. The opposition and whatever, make us stronger,
Well, I'm impressed by you, with your resilience.
Yes. Because they would say, well, I thought by now they would have give up, give in, gone back. Or you won't go back where you work for. It's the same thing we say, kids. How can you expect us who suffered and things so long and so hard to just pack up bag and go leave the land, leave it for who? Leave it for who?
Oh, yeah, migration posed some challenges for us in the early days.
Very much so. It was difficult to leave. Now that it is we who have brought it this far, it's us, They were given a dead sugar industry.
Mm-hmm.
People say, oh, Mr. Bratcher, darling, he wasn't given anything. The sugar industry was about to collapse. He didn't have to fight for nothing. It was given, offered to him. The only difference was the terms of sale.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in Nevis, how do you think the Midian got access to land?
Well, they had a
The sugar
peasantry.
industry in Nevis failed, and
They-
the estate owners abandoned the land.
They had a peasantry. We had a plantocracy. So the lands were in their hand long before.
Nevis had a plantocracy too, because they used to produce sugar in Nevis, you know.
But in the
According
latter
to the
part of the
system-
history, they had a peasantry, which gave them the land to work and they were thing.
They developed a peasantry.
Mhm.
I mean, we got to know the facts. You know? And who take land and what? The land was there. It's the same thing in St. Kitts, a lot of the estates. Take Buckles Estate, for example. It's a combination of 7 estates, all of these being the greatest, the largest one. When the sugar production became unprofitable, they sold out the land for little to nothing.
11
You
million?
know, but what I don't like about Journey, he keeps doing it. And yet he said he worked in the
Sugar factory?
tourism industry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how could you go to work every morning hating people? There must have been a burden on you. If I have those very strong feelings, I wouldn't work in it. It would be pure aggravation of the soul.
It depends on which sector he's working in.
Well, I think he said he worked in the restaurant area.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand. We punish ourselves, you know. It's like a woman getting blows, and she wants to move.
Yeah.
And then she can say, oh, man, bad. But while I'm at it, happy International Men's Day.
Yes,
How
thank
much
you.
emphasis have you put on it today?
A lot.
Positive?
Yes.
Or because sometimes we just hear, well, the man them bad, you know?
I was saying that you should take out, anyway, they did a party, but who takes out who tonight?
Who take out who tonight?
Yeah. Normally when women there, we take out our ladies.
Well, watch. If the men want to be taken out, tell the lady, ask her up front, where are we going tonight?
They're going to say, well, cover it on so we have no place to go?
She could take him out and he foot the bill, you know. No, if he has the money, right? We're talking about company and celebration.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a matter that I go and feed you tonight. It's a matter that we want to celebrate International Men's Day and teach our children.
Yes, the symbolism of it.
Yeah, teach our children, look, this is Men's Day and even Father's Day, you know, it aggravates me. Teach your children. You know, I had a husband.
I know him well.
And my children were taught from the word go. Even get a sheet of paper, write on it Happy Father's Day, Daddy. You know what I mean? The same thing, Men's Day, and you have children, because I'm sure the Holy Ghost ain't give you them. You know? Encourage your children to call their father Happy Daddy, Happy International Men's Day.
I get mine. Well, I didn't get that one today, so I hope some people listening.
Sometimes we minimize, and the men accept it. Because if one year they decide, well, since I don't get not going to share, I bet you things will change.
I guess we have low expectations.
But that should not be. But you see, it means that the men will have to pull up their socks. Oh, let me compliment, hey, God, you join, by the way, you joined the thing yet?
No.
I want you to encourage men, because they do training on fatherhood. Men issues, you got some place with men alone where you can go and discuss issues that affect you. You can get help because they're being trained. You have AGAD, you have my good friend Huggins up the Livingston, Michael Berridge. All of these, I think, are on the...
They did ask me to not join them, but be part of the program, so I appeared a couple of times. But before we close thing, I mentioned your name at least twice in the program. Last week you spoke about the advantages or benefits of going to UWI.
Yes, I heard going to UWI.
Yes. A friend of mine in New York who's from Trinidad, her daughter was at the point where they're discussing where to send her to university. And I mean, being in Trinidad, the young lady, she spent years in Trinidad, so she knows where you is located.
Yeah,
they're now thinking based on what you said. Because the lady called me, she said, Socrates, the timing is so perfect. We know we're considering where to send her. And listening to you, Miss Henry, they made a decision to take her to UWI. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I must give the lady thanks for considering, and I want more parents to consider. Because in some countries, they actually go almost free, you know.
Yeah.
So why go and take out mortgage on your house and your car?
Well, she's not from Trinidad, so they have to pay something extra because she's not a national Trinidad, but her grandmother is. But it would cost a lot more, and based on the curriculum.
The grandmother thing, and the attitude and the dedication to the nation and the Caribbean.
Yes.
Because there are many people doing well who went to UWI outside. Okay. Many great scholars. Because people say, oh, what they're doing. You check out what the UWI doing. A lot of studies going on. You know?
You're calling late?
They contributed greatly. A lot of the leaders went to UWI.
Is Henry?
Hello?
It's 1:32. We have to wrap up.
Anyway, to all the men and boys out there, teenage boys and whatever, happy International Men's Day, and be the best person that you can. Ask God to help you. Whatever you're doing wrong, ask the Lord to help you to correct. Seek help where it is needed. Contact the men's committee, whatever they need. They meet at the Irish Town Primary School. Get in contact with Mr. Agar.
We could not
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. You're so welcome. We could not end on a better note today's episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, and you just heard from Sister Henry. As we close off today's episode, I'll be back in the hot seat on Monday. Right? So, hope to hear from you guys then. In the meantime, stay safe. Wish you peace, love, and a much better tomorrow. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. Curfew lift, but don't overdo it, okay? Bye now.
It's happening again. By popular demand, we're doing it again. Yep, we're doing it again. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances is once again giving away double cash back for free groceries for the months of September to December. Every customer at the Horseman's Furniture and Appliances showroom in St. Kitts and in Nevis gets double cash back coupons for